Over the last few months, we have seen a lot of OG YouTubers like quit and retire, or just go on to entirely different projects outside of YouTube. And it started like a couple of years ago with like Joji, or otherwise known as Filthy Frank. And then we had people like Tom Scott, MatPat, PewDiePie, and several other YouTube creators that have just, even like CNanners. And a lot of these creators we grew up with on YouTube. And I think we are at the end of an era. And this era of YouTube, of online entertainment, it's come to the point where we grew up with those people. And we're now in the second generation of YouTube stars, of YouTube entertainers, of YouTube videos. And it used to be you could start off with like a little gameplay channel or something like that, or commentaries, very similar to what I'm doing right now. And the stuff I'm doing right now is kind of an ode to the old YouTube. But the original YouTube creations, you could tell that there was passion behind them. That the people who were creating the content, even at the start whenever it wasn't possible to make money, they were doing it because they wanted to make the content. They wanted to grow community. They wanted to just have a bit of passion in their work. Nowadays it's all very flashy and inserting memes every 5 seconds and trying to completely overwhelm your brain with dopamine. But there's been a bit of a resurgence in long-scale content, and we saw that with the rise of podcasts, and with 30-minute to hour-long to 2.5-hour-long movies on pretty much everything, from video essays to, creating civilizations in Minecraft, to full-on documentaries. And you can see this example play out with a character by the name of Pyrocynical, creating hours upon hours of content, just going full depth into different things, from people to video games. And it was the same with the drama channels as well, creating full-on documentaries as to the rise and fall of different people. But ultimately, this era of YouTube, it's coming to an end, with many of the OG YouTubers just retiring, essentially. Creating less and less content, but creating content that they want to make. Like, they've made the money, they've made the influence, they've made the impact that they've wanted to make, and now they're just slowly doing their own things, whether they're raising their families or taking a back seat from the whole grind, essentially. And many others just quitting and using the money that they've made to just live a happy life, or to build different businesses in the real world. But what's curious to see now is what's going to happen next. Because we are in essentially the second generation of kids growing up from YouTube and wanting to start doing their own thing. A perfect example of this is one of the creators, I believe it's Tommy Innit. He grew up watching JSlat, and now the two of them have worked together on various different videos. And now he himself has his own well-respected and well-known channel. The people that were watching the original OGs are now creating content, which is a beautiful thing in and of itself. Like, this cycle of creativity is still going. But that also lends the question of what's going to happen next. How is this new generation of YouTube happening? And something that has happened over the last year or two is you have creators like FlowState or Nico creating the old style commentary and using it with like Minecraft or something. But even with that, after like a year or so, I believe FlowState started up his own podcast, and then as well just completely got away from the whole Minecraft thing. So what we're seeing now is the second generation of YouTubers in their second era of their own content creation. Personally, what I would like to see is a return, almost, of the original style content, of people not creating things in order to become famous, not creating things in order to make a lot of money, and to become corporatized in a sense, because we have seen that so many times over the last few years, but rather to start creating things because they want to create them. Whether it's a meme or a joke or, a commentary video or a documentary or whatever it is, just to have passion in it again. I mean, YouTube itself used to literally mean you. You create a video, whatever it is, and you make something of it. And you share that creation with the world. And that in and of itself is a beautiful concept. And we are starting to see this happen. We are starting to see people make tributes to their content creators and then building their own brand, their own little community and growing those communities. And I do think it would be very interesting to watch and to see how this goes. And I am happily seeing so many new types of content be produced that are imitations but also unique. New takes on old styles and basically an ode to the old ways. The ways that we grew up with. I mean, I myself have made content for over a decade, and I started in the very simple, straightforward way of doing gaming content and commentaries and stuff. And I've adapted so many different things, from doing video essays to full-on documentaries, to montages and podcasts and everything in between. But sometimes the best content I've ever made is just talking about something that I have a pure interest in, a fascination with. And while it is sad to see a lot of OG YouTubers just never pick up the mantle again, it is a part of life. But it's also good to see new members take up those roles in a different way and lead from their examples. So I myself am very much looking forward to seeing what's going on and what's going to happen. And the types of creativity and enthusiasm and joy that they take from creating things. It should be interesting to watch.